Hello my friends, and welcome back to Supplement Spotlight Saturdays. Today we're going to be talking about one of my very favorite supplements from dōTERRA. It's something that has made a huge difference in my life, and that is the Serenity Restful Complex Softgels. So these bad boys got me through my last two pregnancies. I didn't have these tools with my first baby, so I struggled a lot with sleep when I was pregnant. I generally am not the best sleeper, but especially bad when I'm pregnant, and having these to help me through babies 2 and 3 was just a total game changer. So I love them so much, and I want you guys to learn about them so that hopefully if you're somebody that struggles with sleep, this can be another tool for you to add to your toolkit. So real briefly, what I do on Supplement Saturdays is I take a deep dive into the science behind one of dōTERRA's essential oil supplements, and then some point during the video I will say what the magic password is. All you have to do is send me a message with that password and you'll be entered to win a free sample of the supplement that we're discussing. All the details on what Supplement Saturdays are and the giveaway rules and all that, I have an album on Facebook and I have a highlight bubble on Instagram, so check that out for details. So, Serenity. dōTERRA has two Serenity products. There's Serenity Essential Oil Blend, and then there's the Serenity Restful Complex. So the blend and the complex both have lavender in it, but other than that, they're completely different. The essential oil blend is not safe to be used internally, so dōTERRA created the Restful Complex, and it's amazing. It has 5 active ingredients in it, 2 main active ingredients, and then there's 3 additional botanicals that are added for synergistic and supportive effects. So the 2 main ingredients in the Serenity Softgels are lavender essential oil and L-theanine. Lavender essential oil, I like to call the quintessential essential oil because I feel like everyone has at least a cursory knowledge of it. We kind of know what it smells like, we've heard of it, but lavender is well known for its soothing and calming effects. And the 2 main constituents in lavender are linalool and linaloyl acetate. And both of these constituents have been studied for their effects on the central nervous system, and they're very soothing, calming, relaxing, sedative. And they also have physical effects on the body. So some studies have been done that have shown that these 2 constituents can help with lowering heart rate, lowering respiratory rate, lowering blood pressure. So really calming your body from the inside out. It's measurable, objective changes in the body. And when we think about sleep, we're breathing slower, our heart is beating slower, we're in that regenerative, restorative state. So it makes sense that that's something that's going to help promote a good night's sleep. The second active ingredient is L-theanine. Now that's something that you might not have heard of, but it is something found in green tea. And what's interesting about green tea is comparatively it has a pretty high caffeine content. However, green tea is generally not considered to be very stimulating, and that is because of the presence of L-theanine. So L-theanine is a non-protein amino acid, and it interacts with the NMDA receptors in your body. So when we think of our body, we think of there being like 2 different pathways. There's an excitatory pathway and there's a relaxing pathway. So the excitatory pathway is the GABA receptors throughout your body. So you might be familiar with things called GABA antagonists, and those are things that interact with those GABA receptors in a way that sort of suppresses them. So if we think about GABA being something that is excitatory, something that is a GABA antagonist or works against GABA would be something that is sedating and calming. So examples of that would be alcohol and benzodiazepines. So benzos are things like Xanax or Klonopin. And then the other pathway, a relaxing pathway, that's the NMDA. We talked about L-theanine in the complex, works with that. So anything that's going to be promoting what we call agonizing the NMDA system is going to be something that's relaxing your body. So L-theanine is working through that NMDA pathway to calm the body. And L-theanine is actually considered to be a non-sedating relaxant. You might say, I wonder why in something that's supposed to help with my sleep, we want it to be non-sedating. And it's because it's really important that we go through this pre-sleep process of calming our body and preparing ourselves for sleep. And so that's really what the key is with the L-theanine, is that it's not necessarily for the actual sleeping, but it's preparing your body to get the best quality sleep. Now, the 3 additional botanicals are lemon balm, passion flower, and German chamomile. Lemon balm is from the mint family. It has a nice lemony aroma to it, and it has really sedating and relaxing effects. And similarly, passion flower, it's a flowering plant, and we're actually harnessing the blossom, the head of the plant, and it also is sedating and calming. The fifth element is German chamomile. This one works a little bit differently. It still has the relaxing and sedating effects, but it also has anti-inflammatory effects. So if you're somebody who has trouble sleeping because of some discomforts, the addition of that German chamomile might make this even more beneficial for you. So it's working synergistically with the other ingredients, but adding on some of that anti-inflammatory response. And what happens with German chamomile is it actually helps to regulate some of the pro-inflammatory precursors in your body, so triggers for that inflammation response. So we're looking at leukotrienes, prostaglandin, and histamine. So those responses throughout your body are triggering inflammation, which can be a good thing. Sometimes inflammation is good for wound healing and things like that, but a dysregulation where our inflammation gets out of balance, that's when we're going to have the discomfort. So histamine, doing that process throughout your body, is also something that you've probably heard of in response to antihistamines. So that would be things like Benadryl and Claritin and Zyrtec, and that's going to be your seasonal irritants, allergies, and being antihistamine receptors throughout your body, you're helping to calm those histamine reactions. So if you're somebody who has trouble sleeping because of dust or seasonal allergies, that could be a side benefit of having the German chamomile included, that it's going to help with the allergic response. Now, histamine also has yet another thing that it does in our body. I said those receptors are everywhere, so it's doing all sorts of different things. It can actually help with anxious feelings. Now, I am a pharmacist in a mental health facility, and a lot of our prescribers give patients something called Vistaril, or hydroxyzine pamoate, and that is an antihistamine. However, when they're prescribing it to patients, they're not trying to help them with their seasonal allergies. They're using it for the off-label side benefit of helping with those anxious feelings. And it makes sense that some of these things that are in this product not only are helping with sleep, but they're helping with anxious feelings because we're helping with soothing and calming the system. So not only is that going to be physical response, but it's also mental and emotional. And I think that's what the real big benefit for me has been with these Serenity Softgels is I'm somebody who struggles with racing thoughts. And so having something that's calming me down mentally and physically helps me to achieve the sleep a little bit better without counting sheep. Speaking of sheep, our password of the day is sheep. Okay, so rounding it out with my interactions and cautions, there is a chance for some interactions with the Serenity complex. It's in regards to the 3 different botanicals can have some medication interactions. And I just want to remind you that anytime you're going to start a new supplement or herbal, talk to your doctor or your pharmacist, because just because something is plant or natural, it can still have interactions with medications. In fact, some of the most common interactions, like St. John's wort, is a supplement and it has more interactions than any prescription medication that I know of. So it's just really important to make sure that we're not dismissing the fact that there is a chance of interaction and check on those things. So the 3 that you can find with this complex are phenobarbital, which is the seizure medication, can interact with passion flower. So if you are currently taking phenobarbital, I would generally recommend probably this isn't the best product for you. If you are somebody who is on warfarin, which is an anticoagulant, you're definitely going to want to talk to your prescriber because it can interact with the German chamomile. And that's not an absolute contraindication saying that you couldn't take them together, but I would recommend asking if you can, at least when you're first starting using it, increase the frequency of your INR monitoring so that we can make sure that your blood is still clotting the way that it's supposed to be. And lastly, the lemon bulb can interact with patients that are diabetic or taking medications that can affect your blood sugar levels. Lemon balm can actually cause a dip in your blood sugar, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because we're trying to lower blood sugar for our diabetic patients. But if it dips too low, you can enter hypoglycemia. And so we just want to be monitoring, as always, for symptoms of hypoglycemia. So things like confusion, shaking, sweating, dizziness. And if you experience any of those, it might mean that your blood sugar is too low. So if you're somebody who tests your blood sugar, I would definitely recommend monitoring more frequently when you first start taking this. But in general, this medication is very well tolerated. It's safe to take every day if you want to. When I was pregnant, I was taking it every night because I knew I was going to need it. But when I'm not pregnant, I usually just use it kind of on the nights that I know I'm going to struggle, so as needed. And there have been some long-term studies done up to 4 months of continuous use. Was proven safe. They haven't tested it longer than that, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be safe to continue it longer than that. As far as side effects, the only side effect that I've heard of, I've experienced it, and I know a couple other people that I help have had some heartburn with it, but that's not necessarily something that everyone will experience, but that's the only side effect that I know of. So in general, it's pretty well tolerated. You don't wake up with that terrible, groggy after feeling that you can sometimes get with like Benadryl or prescription sleep aids. I have woken up feeling just refreshed every time that I've used it. So I love this product. Take 2 capsules 30 to 60 minutes before bedtime for sleep. And if you want to use it for anxious feelings, I actually have taken this during the day for that. I usually take 1 capsule during the day. So I find that 1 does not make me drowsy, but it does help calm those anxious feelings. And take a little bit of water. I would probably steer away from food because sometimes taking food before bedtime can cause indigestion and just make it hard to sleep. And just a little bit of water so you don't have to get up and go to the little girl's room in the middle of the night. But any questions, pop them below. Make sure you message me with the password, and I will see you next week.